Film Trivia 1000 writes, what actor and or actress do you feel is a chameleon?
Oh, that can like just do anything. To me, the best example of that right now is still Russell Crowe. I mean, Russell Crowe can be the big, intimidating gladiator. He can be a wimpy little, like overweight guy, like blowing the whistle on the tobacco industry. He can be a lot of different things, and he will do it all amazingly. No matter what he does, he can do it. He can do comedy. If you haven't seen Mystery Alaska, I won't put it on my list of 20. But if you have not seen Mystery Alaska, see Mystery Alaska. So freaking funny. Such a great little movie. Things like that. Actress, I mean, this is gonna. It's so obvious that it's like a cop out. But the Streep,
right?
I mean, the Streep can do anything.
Ricky in the Flash, man. She played guitar.
She learned in Ricky in the Flash. I was talking to Diablo Cody, writer. She was actually in here sitting in that chair where you are right now, who wrote Ricky in the Flash, Academy Award winner Diablo Cody. And she was telling that 6 months before the shooting of that film, Meryl Streep had never picked up a guitar. Meryl Streep, get this, in 6 months, this just makes me mad. She learned how to play guitar and to sing and all that kind of stuff. Well, she's done some singing before. All the scenes you see in Ricky in the Flash of her playing guitar and singing is actually her playing guitar and singing. This woman can do anything at all. So those would be the two I would go with.
Can you believe they turned her down for King Kong? Sorry about that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, you're too ugly.
It worked out pretty good, though.
It worked out for her,
fine.
yeah. I'd say Charlize Theron is in that world.
She's great.
And so is Kate Winslet. Those are the top females as far as like incredible actresses who can just fall into a role. I would give Christian Bale a good shout out for a lot of his transformations. I mean, he went from like the thinnest man in The Machinist to a kind of a comb-over fatty in the American Hustle. You know, when I say fatty, I mean it loosely, not super fat, but just thick. And but no, he's a great actor. I would also, I was going to say Fassbender. He really falls into his roles pretty well.
Oh yeah, he was Magneto, so good in Jobs and
to 12 Years a Slave, like just a person that you absolutely hate. So those are my picks right off.
Yeah, I love looking at people who start out maybe in a more comedic background, can end up doing comedy or drama. So I'd throw Octavia Spencer, somebody who recently, she can be funny or she can be heartbreaking on screen, as well as Michael Keaton has done it all. Tom Hanks has done it all. Jim Carrey, I think, can do it all still. So I throw them in the mix as well.
I'm reading some great ones. Some people are saying like names like Cate Blanchett. Obviously, that's a great one. This is from you guys online right now. Some people saying DiCaprio. Honestly, somebody said Ahmed Best.
Well, give the guy a break. Misa need a job.
I thought that was great. All right, what's next?
Hamza writes, what in your opinion is the worst casting ever done?
Well, I mean, who knows? But I mean, one that usually stands out to me too, that really stand out to me about just poor casting, where it's not necessarily bad actress. It's just that wasn't the role for her. Mary Jane in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
Kristen Dunst.
Kristen Dunst. Very good actress. That she was not right for that. And then staying in the comic book genre, she played Lois Lane in Superman Returns.
Oh yeah, Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth. Yeah. Once again, an actress I like quite a bit.
Just too young.
Oh my God!
When did you win that Pulitzer Prize? When you were 12?
I know. Yeah. But for the whole rest of the film, it wasn't the right cast. Talented people just miscast. When I think of miscast, I don't just think about getting a bad actor. No, somebody who could be considered a good actor. But that wasn't the right role for them.
Here's one of my most recent like horrible casting decisions. 2-time Oscar winner Christoph Waltz was cast in Tim Burton's Big Eyes, and it ruined the entire movie.
Not a fit
for me.
Not a good fit.
It ruined it. He was overacting. It was like he didn't fit. Like everyone else was naturalistically acting, and he's like, I'm a weird cartoon character. Ruined the movie for me.
So, but is that a case of being miscast, or he just did a bad job in the movie?
No, I mean, I don't think he did. I think he did what he thought was expected of him. I think it was like, you know, I mean, it's not up to the director to tell once an actor is cast to be like, you know, do what I say and do line readings. It's like you were cast for a reason to bring the thing that you bring that you've won 2 Oscars for, and it just didn't fit, at least in my opinion. So,
Mark?
Yeah, I always go back in the comic book genre. I always go back to Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face. It just
nice one.
It was just watching. It's just like I see where you're going with Two-Face, and even though I didn't like the way Joel Schumacher was taking that movie, Jim Carrey was a great casting choice as the Riddler for what that movie was, and just Tommy Lee Jones, it just wasn't really in his wheelhouse, and it was kind of hard to watch.
Here's Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, he's such a great actor, and it's funny that
Oh.
even being a great actor and having such talent, you're not right for everything.
Right.
That's true. All right, what's next?
Hannah Manny Forseen writes, how can you tell while watching a film if the direction is good or bad?
There's a couple of key things that stand out to you, and direction, like anything else, is subjective, and whether it works for you. To me, it's about story flow. Does one scene naturally flow to the other? Is the story being told, or does it feel like... here's a real flag to me about a movie that is a poorly directed movie. When each scene feels like it's its own little thing, and then just the next scene is just kind of slapped beside it, and then the next scene, which is his own little thing, just slapped beside it. Really good direction does a lot of different things, but one of the things that I notice immediately is how does everything flow? Is there connective tissue that just really makes it streamline and flow so you feel the narrative and the story flowing off the screen at you? And the other thing is the performances of the actors. I mean, that's the number one job of the director, to me, is getting the right performances out of their actors. So those are the two. There's 1,000 other criteria, 1,000 of them. But to me, that's one, is that do the various scenes just feel like a collection of scenes slapped together, or do they feel like they're one cohesive thing that flows together? And Schnepp, as a director, what stands out, what catches your eye negatively when you're sitting down and watching a movie about the direction?
Tone. Like the very first thing for me is like, no matter what kind of film it is, if it's a slapstick comedy or if it's a hard sci-fi, keeping the tone of the beginning to keep your suspension of disbelief going through whatever it is that you're seeing within those 2 hours, to keep you there and to keep the story moving along. Tone has a lot to do with it. And if it's like all of a sudden the tone shifts from one thing to the other, and it pulls you out of the film. So that to me is like keeping the tone is one of the most important things. Sometimes, and also once again, workshopping with actors so that they're all in the same universe. Like that's the one thing where you have disparate performances will once again throw you out of the movie, where one person thinks they're in a comedy, the other person thinks they're in a melodrama. You got to have both of them. Like, no, you're actually both of you are in this really serious soap opera. It's neither. So those two things.
Yeah, it's an amalgam of so many things where you're talking about cinematography or visual effects or the way the music is. At the end of the day, all that stuff is the director's call. It's his job, or the studio's, to take care of all that stuff. And the acting is the thing that I will notice most of all, is if I believe the acting. But even more than that is if I can watch a movie and not notice the directing. If I can just sit back and just not be aware that this is a movie that is being directed. If I can get that sucked into the story where I just believe everything that's happening. Sometimes directors like to have their own personal flair in there, which is fine, like Tarantino or Guillermo del Toro. I appreciate that, but also let me disappear into this movie and not think about this as a production that was made and is no longer existing. Let me believe I'm in this universe.
Right.
All right, what's next?
I'm going to love your responses to this one.
Oh, here we go.
Samuel Varg writes, pick one movie to define your character, not favorite movie, a movie that tells who you are.
Oh,
To
God.
It's going to take some thought.
To define our
Who
own
you
personal.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
What movie can you watch to define who you are?
Oh God,
I'll let you think about this a little bit. For me, I think of The Sandlot.
Ooh,
I
good
really
one.
do. I for a lot of different reasons, and that I could spend in the next half hour talking about. But for me, it's probably The Sandlot. What about you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably Eraserhead from. No, I don't. I'm trying to think of a serious one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Tom Cruise in Top Gun is a little too obvious for everybody. So I'll go with something a little... I like to think of myself as a Marty McFly type. I have a lot of energy. I'd love to go back in time. I'm a huge Van Halen fan. But even more so than that, there's a movie called Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. And there's a certain actor in that movie named
wife
Topher
loves
Grace.
that. My wife
And
loves that movie.
I look a lot like Topher Grace. And when I watch Topher Grace in that movie, I feel a lot of the same emotions that he has. When you really like a girl and you're just worried that, oh, this big stud is going to go take her away from me. There's nothing I can do. And he gets stuck in the friend zone all the time. I'm happy to say I've dug my way out of that for now. But a lot of times in life, I felt like Topher Grace in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton.
Now, Dumb and Dumber could apply to this table. Perhaps another one for me would be Steve Martin's The Jerk.
Nice.
I don't know. A few other big classics come along.
You know
All
what?
right.
For me, it's a combination of Bluto from Animal House.
Yeah.
And the main character that Jim Carrey played in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If I could combine those two personalities, then you got me a little bit, which is horrible. But
All right, what's next?
Carrie Smart writes, what do you guys think of a Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs prequel, maybe Netflix series? Love you guys.
That's an idea that has been floated around a lot. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the Vega brothers, having the Vega brothers together. And it is unfortunate that the state of things means it would have to be prequel and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a fan of prequels in general. Not that they can never work and stuff like that. But, it would have to be done by Tarantino. If it's not done by Tarantino, I automatically have no interest in it because those are his stories, you know? And I don't get the sense from Tarantino that he has any interest in sequels, prequels, whatever. He's got a catalog of ideas and things that he wants to do. And I don't think revisiting old characters like that, I mean, cameoing an old character of his in a new project is something he might do, but I don't think we'll see something like that. Schnepp, what do you think?
Boy, I wonder if he would be party to like just getting Travolta and Madsen and not being the Vega brothers, but like the Sega brothers, or just like rework his script a little bit. And like, just have those guys in it. That would be dope.
The Sega brothers, they can just be like play Altered Beast.
Yeah,
all
Genesis, Sega Genesis.
Well, you know, I mean, Tarantino might not be interested in doing a prequel to those stories, but he is interested in doing television. I had the privilege of being at the Comic-Con panel that he was on talking about The Hateful Eight. And one of the things he brought up is that if he continues to feel constrained making movies, where he takes a lot of time to make his movies, and his movies generally run well over 2 hours because he has such a rich story that he's trying to tell. And he alluded to the fact that on TV now, with the state of things being Netflix and Hulu and Amazon the way they are, you have a lot of freedom when you're telling a story and you have a lot of time to tell it. You can have 10 hours, you can have 13 episodes, whatever you want. So I think Tarantino might work on a TV project sooner than later. It probably won't be a prequel to the Vega brothers, but you're going to see something from Tarantino on TV. I'm willing to bet.
All right, let's take 3 more.
Aaron writes, is there a movie that made you vomit? Sorry, not sorry.
Nah. No, I mean, the movies that have come close to make me go, was from tension. Nothing, I've never seen anything on screen that's made me go, oh, because it's so gruesome or whatever. But I mean, I go back to this movie all the time, but holy frickin' frick. The Descent.
Oh, yeah.
Before the monsters even show up in that movie, you've talked about this before too.
Yeah.
They're cave diving and they're crawling through, and I'm telling you, I thought I was going to be physically sick. Yeah. Like, that's how good of a job they do in that movie with the cinematography choices.
You're like all inchworming. You're like, you people are crazy.
I'm freaking out watching that movie.
Like,
it's oh my God, it's so tense. Anyway, that's the one for me. What about you guys?
Physically ill. I'd said this earlier, like Martyrs, when I was watching that movie. That movie's like a very intense horror film, which isn't for everyone. I wouldn't even say I'd ever watch it again. So that kind of film, but like physically ill, like watching a horrible garbage film was probably like Island of Frankenstein. What was that Frankenstein movie called?
Frankenstein,
Is the Island of Dr. Moreau?
No, it was like the one with
I, Frankenstein?
Not Frankenstein Unbound.
So I couldn't even remember what it was called. It was so horrible.
The Island of Frankenstein.
Yeah, it was like Frankenstein explosions. Everybody was exploding in like rainbow fireworks. It was so dumb.
I guess you boys have never witnessed Transformers 4 Age of Extinction because I actually had a physical breakdown after that movie, and it's not a lie. Like, I had a really intense workout over that day. I played basketball for a long time. I took a post-workout supplement that I didn't feel great, and then I went to go see Transformers Age of Extinction, and by the end of the movie, I was like physically shaking. I went home. I stopped at Jack in the Box on the way to get something to eat, and then I get home, and I'm just sitting in the tub eating a hamburger like a heroin addict, and it was the closest I've ever been to vomiting in general in the last couple of years, and I blame Michael Bay and Transformers fully for everything that I went through.
Although in the defense of Transformers 4, it is at least a little bit educational, because before Transformers 4, I didn't know that every average citizen in Hong Kong was also a ninja. Didn't know that before Transformers 4.
I didn't know the robots had cigars. Throw the grenades over there. Hated that film.
All right, last question of the day.
Tate AMC's son writes, thoughts on Leonardo DiCaprio in a Scarface reboot? I heard that Scorsese is looking to do it.
This would be one of those questions of fit to me. I don't think Leo fits that. I think Leo is a world-class actor. He's one of the elite right now, and I don't see it as a fit. So if they did it, I'm into it. I'll watch it, absolutely, but it wouldn't be in my first top 3, 4, or 5 choices for it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have to have some fun with the ethnicity there, or else maybe they change the backstory a little bit. Like, you can still have the Scarface tropes without having it be a Cuban immigrant coming to Miami. So, we don't want a Fisher Stevens in short circuit situation. So maybe Leo somewhere else, and he becomes this drug kingpin. I'd love to see him in a role like that, the Oscar-winning Leo DiCaprio for The Revenant, but we'll see if it just doesn't seem like he'd be the right fit, but him and Scorsese are so good together. If they did some sort of drug-related movie, I'd be up for it.
I mean, it really depends. Are they going to go back to like the 20s or 30s to do that kind of a remake of the original Scarface?
Right.
Or are they going to just do
are we talking the original Scarface?
Are we talking like 2018 Scarface, where it's like all about like, shipping and receiving drugs nowadays?
Now that you mention it, I think I remember hearing hearing when they were first talking about I think I heard that they were going to borrow more from the original Scarface, not the Al Pacino
Right,
one.
You can't mess with the Brian De Palma Al Pacino Scarface. That is legend. That is gold. You cannot remake that. That is just burned in forever.
That's a great point. But the original 1920s
I'm talking
film,
the original, yeah.
which might be on our top 20 movies you need to see list.
Keep your eyes open for that.
Could happen.
Speaking of keeping your eyes open, this Wednesday, John Schnepp, myself, Mark Ellis, and Christian Harloff, we are going to, because apparently we hate ourselves, we're going to sit down and watch the entirety of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, and we're going to have a video camera and some microphones in our hand pointed at us as we watch it. We are going to give full running commentary on Star Wars The Phantom Menace this Wednesday, and then each Wednesday between now and when Star Wars The Force Frickin' Awakens comes out, we're going to have every Wednesday us giving commentary on all 6 of the Star Wars movies, starting with The Phantom Menace this Wednesday night. Should be online in the evening sometime, I think. Dennis might put it up Thursday morning, but I think Wednesday night is probably when it's going to go up. So keep your eyes open for that. We're really looking forward to doing it. All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at our friends over there at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and, of course, your movie ticket information. You a fan of entertainment news? Of course you are. Why else would you be here? You need to bookmark Collider.com if you want to be kept up to date by the minute on everything going on in the world of film and television, stuff like that. Steve Weintraub and his crack team of writers over at Collider.com doing a great job of keeping you informed, up to date, and one step ahead of the curve. Make sure you bookmark Collider.com. Tune in for Heroes tomorrow, Jedi Council on Thursday, mailbags on the weekend. This weekend mailbags are now up. Go and check them out. We've got recap shows coming. Tonight we got Supergirl. Tomorrow we got Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Lots of stuff going on over here, which just kind of highlights the fact that you need to be subscribed to Collider Video right now. Just take a second, click the subscribe button, be kept up to date. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting over here on my left, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp and at TDOSLWH. Tonight, I'm actually going to be on the Supergirl recap. And,
you are going to be on it?
I'm going to guest on it.
That's awesome.
I think, because one of the gals can't be there, so I'm going to sub in and give you
John
my perspective.
Schnepp is going to be on the Supergirl
I can't
recap
wait.
show tonight.
I love that show. And then tomorrow is Collider Heroes, so please write in, just hashtag Collider Heroes. Get me those sweaty questions. Me, Burnett, Campia, and who else is going to be on?
Aaron Fenton's going to be on.
So we're going to have a full crew tomorrow sweating it up about all the hero stuff. And just check out my film, The Death of Superman Lives. It's on Showtime. The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened? It's on Showtime. And you can go to the website, www.tdoslwh.com. Get a digital download. Support independent film.
And sitting over here on my right, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you?
Well, Schnepp made fun of my vest. I can't wait to see you in a Supergirl costume tonight.
Hey, I think your vest is swell.
Thank you very much.
This
vest will not be with me, but I will be at the Laugh Factory tomorrow night doing a very special charity show. So if you're in the Southern California area, come out to the Laugh Factory and see me do stand-up. Tom Arlo's also going to be there on Tuesday. You can follow me online at 5150 Ellis.
And, of course, our lovely host today, looking fetching in her British flag.
Do you like it?
I do like it.
We very much love it.
Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
On Twitter and on Instagram, Ashley Mova. Happy Monday, guys.
And you guys should keep your eyes open for my new novel, The Pride, coming out here pretty soon. I'll keep you up to date. How do we find out what's coming out? Well, I'm glad you asked. Look down here. You can follow me on Twitter at John Campia, or follow me on Facebook at John Campia as well. And I will keep you guys up to date on the progress of that as well. That'll do it for us, guys. Special thanks to Ray, to Wendy, to Dennis, and everybody behind the camera, especially to all of you guys who were joining us in the chat board, talking with us live today. That was great. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow. My name's John Campia for Collider Video, and until then, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.